Dude, everything's still wet. I need to wash my truck today. We got picture day today, so it's the first day back to school. And you know, we got the neighbors, Buddy Gross and his crew, and Jason Christie's staying right next, so it's a little fishing community here, but we're all, you know, it's like the first day back at school, all the jitters, you know, and happy to see everyone. You know, it's about to go down. Tournament starts tomorrow, but today we've got picture day, both headshots and shots of the boat. And so I got to go to the car wash. We'll pull in, we'll wipe the boat down and clean it all up for photos. And also, by the way, that'd probably be a good time to give you guys a walk around of all the equipment, the electronics, the batteries, all that stuff. Walk around and explain to you guys, you know, why I have it set up this way and all the benefits of all the little pieces of hardware on the boat. So, come on.
Hey, do you guys know where the car wash is? All right, thanks. Yeah, okay, we'll hang a left up there. All right, thanks. What you doing, dog?
Verifying. Whoa, straight up like that, huh? 10 minutes, that's plenty. All right, high pressure rinse. We'll knock the, oh, she's live. Yep, just let her rip. Let her rip. Any dirt you see, knock it off. Careful, Johnny.
Oh, okay. Good call.
Been at one or two of these. All right, here's the most important step whenever you go to these drive-through car washes here. Always hit it with a spot-free rinse. It's a lower pressured, conditioned water, so it's like a, you know, like a water softener at your house. They take all the minerals out of it, and it's just a soft water that doesn't leave any spots, and that's the key. All right, we'll roll out of here, let it dry a little bit, go into that parking lot, Johnny, wipe her down, we'll shoot that bid. All right, now that I have the truck clean and the boat clean for you guys, it's all dried out and I'm ready to show you everything on my boat. I'll tell you why I rig it the way I rig it, all the little accessories. This 2021 Skeeter FXR is more than just a wrap and more than just decals, and I'm going to show that to you. So, and by the way, if you haven't seen the wrap video we just put out, make sure you watch that. It's a really cool behind the scenes look of how a boat gets wrapped, and I actually got my hands dirty on it. So here it is, 2021 FXR 20, a very fast, stable, sturdy boat. On a Skeeter trailer. They actually build these Skeeter trailers in-house at the Skeeter factory out in East Texas. So tandem trailer, it's got the armored finish on it, all black wheels, pretty sick there. I think those are 20s. Pretty sure those are 20s. I keep them clean. So all black scheme, really cool. Like a dark black, almost red sparkle fender there. Really, really neat. But yeah, let's take a walk around here. Really cool. The fender lights up. Gas cap on this side. All our Elite Series decals are on the boat. Raptors this year, that's new for this year. You know, it's not a new design. This design has been around for years and years and years, but what is new is the new active anchoring on these Minn Kota Raptors here. Shallow water anchors, they work up to 8 feet. Really cool feature. The pumps, it's such a smart system. The pumps know when your boat is starting to come up off the bottom and it readjusts itself. The pumps actuate and the stakes actually stick in a lot further. So you'll never ever come up off the bottom despite waves, but despite wind, despite current. Really, really sturdy. I mean, these suckers are super, super sturdy. They're not going anywhere. You see they got the kind of the hex holes here. where they took a lot of the weight out. So ultra lightweight, really, really cool. Of course, Yamaha Show 250, they've been building 4-stroke engines for a long time. This particular model has been around for a really long time, and for good reason. It's super reliable and really, really quiet. So that's the OG 4-stroke, and they pioneered that 4-stroke engine game in the marine industry. 25 pitch prop, really good prop for this whole setup for a 20-foot boat. Again, Raptor on this side, super, super solid. Hydraulic hoses, all that. Atlas hydraulic jack plate, huge key. That's a 12-inch jack plate, especially when you're down in Florida or fishing shallow water, whatever it is. When you're idling around or even want to pop up the boat in real shallow water, you could jack that 12-inch jack plate all the way up, keep the prop wet, get that angle down, and pop up out of 1.5 foot of water, no problem. Keep on coming around here, regular, pop-up cleats and rod straps. Dude, these are the best in the game. It's just kind of like a rubber-coated nylon rod strap with a stainless steel clasp. Ultra, ultra sick. And keep in mind here, as we get into kind of really the nuts and bolts of this whole setup, I'm gonna start to get into the electronics here. I rig these boats out, mine and Trait's boat out every January. So I know exactly what cables are ran, where the power source is, where all the fuses are. All of that I know exactly where it's at. If Trait ever has a problem on the water, she could text me, she could call me, and I'll say, well, check this out. Look at this fuse, look at this connection. So coming around here, TH Marine prop nut, really cool here. They did a red one, and that just eliminates like that squeal. Sometimes you'll get that squeal in your trolling motor prop if there's like a piece of grass or something on there, but that flat back, that stock flat back is a little noisy at times. So that nice tapered shape there really lets the water travel over the motor and then out real smooth, real nicely. I always keep a nice clean prop. If there's any nicks or anything like that, I'll go to the local marine store and buy one if I have to, but you got to keep that propeller surface clean to keep it real quiet in that shallow water. Minn Kota Ultrex, this is a 45-inch shaft. I really like the 45-inch shaft instead of like a 52 or a 60-inch shaft. I like the 45 because it's real compact, real neat, 36-volt system. And if you look over here, I tried a bunch of different, we call them bounce busters or legs here for the trolling motor, but I just like the Minn Kota, the aluminum Minn Kota peg here, and I pair it with actually 2 straps, so that motor is not coming off of there. Even when we're up there on St. Clair, St. Lawrence River, you stuff one of those gnarly waves, having 2 straps instead of just 1 strap keeps that trolling motor secure. That thing's not going anywhere. Of course, Humminbird 360. This is the Mega 360 version, and this transducer actually rotates 360 degrees underneath the water. So that transducer is pinging 360 degrees as it rotates. It's like an underwater radar, and it helps you pick up fish, but more importantly, it picks up isolated pieces of structure, whether it be a grass line, a grass hole, a rock over here, maybe a school of fish over there. It really helps you pinpoint those casts so there's no wasted cast. So we ended with the trolling motor. Let's get into the Solix units here. This is my dedicated, the top one is my dedicated 360 unit. So at 12 inches, I've got this 360 degree circle. I can see in front of me, behind me, to the left and to the right. I could zoom in and zoom out. I have it networked through an Ethernet, which means we're able to share waypoints. We're able to share 360, all the different accessories on here, the transducers. We're able to share everything through that Ethernet network system. So this 12-inch unit here, I've got a dedicated left side here just for my map, so I know exactly where I'm at. And then over here, I've got 2D sonar and down imaging. 2D sonar for that real-time, boom, right there. I want to drop a drop shot down to some big smallmouth. I can see that 2D sonar. I can see it right there, pinging, pinging, pinging real quick. And then the down imaging, I'm able to pick out you know, single stumps, single trees. You could pick out the branches and almost the leaves on the trees down there just by looking at down imaging. So I have both of those pictures in 112-inch Solix there. So a little bit later this year, 2021, Hummingbird's coming out with their live technology, and there's no question that, you know, that live technology, forward-facing live sonar has really changed the sport. It seems like everyone's got it now. Humminbird is coming out with theirs a little bit later here this year. So I'm gonna have another dedicated unit, a third standoff unit just for that live technology. Geiger Tech mounts, really cool. If you guys saw my social media when I was installing this stuff, they send that stuff all the way from Canada, billet aluminum and coated, it's all powder coated. They powder coated it red with real carbon fiber reinforcements in here. So it's not the fake faux carbon fiber, that's real carbon fiber they use in race cars, NASCAR, all that stuff. So it's super lightweight, super strong. Geiger Tech electronics mounts, really, really solid, zero issues. I mean, I could kick that thing and it's not coming off of there. TH Marine cool foot, really sick here, little camo pattern on my Ultrex pedal. And over here is kind of cool. Man, you know, I'm very curious whenever someone's setting up their boat, how they set up their stomp switches for their shallow water anchors. And I always think, you know, some people have one to the right and one to the left. I like keeping mine in one simple area with one little minor detail. The down button, which deploys the Raptors down, should always be closer to you. You know, when you're fishing along, you catch a fish, or, you know, there's a slight emergency, whatever it might be, I need to stomp down real quick and get those poles down. And as those Raptors deploy down into the water there, I know that this is closer to me. And the up switch, I think, should be a little bit further away from you because it's not as urgent. About the only time it's urgent is when you hook one with the Raptors down and you got to go get them, and you just have to hit it one time, Raptors come right up. So that's really cool there. GPS pucks, that's really important here. These Humminbird GPS pucks, they're for accuracy, both for knowing where exactly you are in relation to true north, so it acts as a compass, and also wherever you hit a waypoint up here, it's gonna drop that waypoint directly under this GPS receiver. So if you have the GPS receiver in the rear, it's gonna drop it back there. So essentially, if you hit a waypoint up here, it's gonna drop it 20 feet back. I like to have mine right in line with my screen, with the transducer right here up front. It helps with accuracy. So that's all that up front here. You know, you got some integrated bow lights here, really cool. You're not fumbling with a bow light stick, having to put it in at all. So everything's real nice and tidy. I like this space right here. This is my workspace. Whether I'm sight fishing or throwing a jerkbait topwater real fast, I like having this. Also, when my marshals or co-anglers or Johnny hops in the boat, when I pull up to a dock, I like having this space right here wide open. That's why I've got all my accessories off to the left-hand side here. Carpet decals, you know, these are really cool. They look good. And people always ask me, does it leave a mark, or how do you pull them off? They're actually really cool. It's just like the vinyl wrap. It's just an extra heavy-duty adhesive on the back, and it doesn't leave any residue behind. So tool rack here, real nice and easy. I keep 2 pairs of pliers and 2 pairs of scissors here. If you have a guy like Johnny in your boat, scissors end up on the floor like that. So I always like having extra pairs, extra pairs here. So that's pretty cool. Let's get into, so real simple here, glove box. I keep toilet paper. I keep all my Humminbird Lake Master cards in here, waterproof case. Registration, sunscreen, you know, phone charger, stuff like that. Pretty much everything you would keep in your truck, the truck glove box. You know, anything you need in there, you'd have in here. This right here, rod box. It's an absolute disaster right now. I'm gonna fish a tournament tomorrow, but I've got all these different rods. Really don't know what to expect for the tournament. So you have, or I have, you know, 22, 23 rods in there, and they fit no problem because there's a giant tube up there. As long as you use rod sleeves, they fit in there real nice. So that's left rod box, right rod box, a little bit different. That's where I keep all my spare rods. Spare rods just on the bottom there, just lay them in there with rod sleeves. And I also keep my spinning rods on this side because they take up a little more space, so I keep them on that side. The other thing too is you're always paying attention to weight distribution in your boat. So I like to offset my weight. You know, I'm 150 pounds, so that's always 150 pounds in the driver's seat. So I like to kind of load this left side, this port side of the boat, to compensate for that 150 pounds on this side. Do the same thing with the batteries. I'll get to that in a second. So rain gear, I keep my rain gear on this side, real neat, real easy. And then over here is the day box. This is a cool box. I keep my gloves, I keep sunscreen items, I keep screen cleaner over here, markers, glue, and then it's a day box. So, you know, if you cut off a jig or I cut off, you know, some of these vibrating baits, I just put them in here. And whatever worms I plan on using that day, I just go ahead and leave them in there. They're quick to get to. I'm not opening this huge box to get to it. Markers, you know, things like that. That goes in the day box real easy. And then this is kind of a disaster too, but come on in and check it out. This is the main box. This is where I keep all my tackle. I like to stack my heavier items towards the rear of this, just to get as much weight in the rear as possible. So all my lead weights, tungsten weights, spinner baits, and jigs towards the rear. And as I get into jerk baits and kind of lighter hard plastic baits, they're more towards the front here. I got, you know, I got 8-inch mag drafts everywhere. All my plastics are right here. And then I always just, I mean, it's just old school. I just keep them in 1 gallon size bags, really. And, you know, just ask Trade. I'm not really an organized guy, but in my mind, I know exactly where this stuff is. You know, my flip baits in 1 gallon bag, just throw it in there. You know, extra, you know, hooks, spinner baits, jigs, stuff like that. My line. You're not a professional fisherman unless you have, you know, ice bucket from, you know, one of the motels you spend $1,000 at for 8 days. At a time. All my line here, back in the back here, leader line, all that stuff is just kind of thrown in there. But the Skeeter FXR's got this nice recession right down the center where you could stack, you know, the Plano 3700s or whatever boxes you plan on using. So that's that. Real simple, real easy. This is kind of cool here. This is a well, it's a garbage can. It's a free floating garbage can. If you hang out with Johnny enough, you know that he drinks a lot of water, so I usually just double it. I stack it with waters, but I also throw the trash in there as well. So I try to keep those, I try to keep it empty of trash every time I get off the water. Check this out right here. This is new for this year. This Skeeter FXR is the very first bass boat out of the Skeeter factory in East Texas that left the factory with sea deck. So instead of carpet, we put sea deck in the floor here, so that's custom, and this is a trial run here, and I'm glad to try it out because this stuff is awesome. I just got done washing this boat not too long ago, and this is like already dry. So it drains real nice, it's real grippy, it dries real fast. It's just a awesome, you know, alternative to carpet in the cockpit area. I just like being dry. I don't like cruising around, you know, I don't like walking around the boat when the carpet's wet. So, so in the driver's seat here, again, at the console, Geiger Tech mounts in the rear, super solid, not going anywhere. Left Solix here, dedicated map. I think that's very important. One, because we fish unfamiliar waters a lot, and you got to know exactly where you're at, but you could pinch to zoom, pinch out, you know, to expand. Real fast units here, but I always dedicate a full map on that left hand side. Lake Master mapping is so awesome. 1 foot contours, really cool. Ooh, there's some waypoints right there. And then the right side, dedicated Solix 12 here. This right here is my side imaging. 100 feet to the left, 100 feet to the right. That's what I prefer. And when I'm fishing real tight waters, it'll be like 80 feet to the left, 80 feet to the right. Got 100 and 100, side imaging only, 2D, only, and that really helps when I'm popped up on pad 60 miles an hour going down a river. I don't really know what the contour is like except for what Lake Master shows me, but I need to know real time what exactly the depth is underneath the boat when I'm running at 55, 60 miles an hour. 2D sonar, down imaging, and again, when I set it down on pad here, I'm able to see everything. If I see something I like on the left-hand side, an underwater rock pile or something like that, I just go ahead and click over here and hit mark, and there's my waypoint, and it'll show up on my map instantly because of that Ethernet system. And that's the Ethernet box right here. So there's a 5-port box here that shares, again, all that information: waypoint, speed, temperature, transducers. All your information is shared throughout the whole network with that box and an Ethernet system. TH Marine Hotfoot, that's a must-have, no-brainer, for safety reasons and for just ease of use. Trim on the left here, jack plate on the right. Everything's real nice and tidy. Love it there. I got a Raptor switch here. Real nice. All my controls over here. This is kind of neat here. Flow-Right makes a drain plug. It's a remote drain plug. It's just a cable that runs all the way back to the drain plug. If Johnny launches me and I forget my plug and I hear my bilge pump going off, all I gotta do is hit in, so it's in. I don't have to go and strip down to my underwear and go swimming and plug the boat. So that's kind of cool. So out, in, real simple. Same thing with the live well plug, same exact deal. Right here is just cooler. Use it a lot in the summertime. Holds a lot of ice. Okay, over here, I always try to keep this co-angler box empty, a lot of space. This particular tournament I'm fishing this week, it can be treacherous, so I got my spare prop with me. I should always keep it with me, but especially so this week. I got it back in the back here. Extra life jackets on this side. Live well is real simple. Everyone knows what a live well looks like, and I got my my clipless or clipped coal tags there. Had those forever, dude, like 12 years. On this side, again, I'm trying to keep in mind that I weigh 150 pounds, so I kind of weight my boat accordingly, distribute the weight. Keep my life jackets over here, rope, scale, throw cushion, all the boating stuff, G-juice. All right, this is cool here. I keep this with me. That's a charger. As we get into the back here, this is where I spent most of my time in January, rigging out the bilge area in my FXR. So this is a super semi-custom. I mean, I don't know any other boat that's rigged like this, except for Traits, because I rigged it. But going back to this sweet little charger right here, count the batteries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, I remember when I first started fishing, it was a 24-volt trolling motor. That's 2 batteries plus 1 for cranking, 3 batteries total. Now we got 5 batteries. With the demand for power, with all the electronics nowadays, I don't care what brand you run, whatever it is, there's so many lights and pumps and electronics and sonar pinging and poles and, underwater radar, all these accessories and cameras, all these accessories require a lot of power. So I have a bad boy Group 31 Odyssey cranking battery, and this is a AGM cranking battery, so that's absorbed glass mat, which means it's non-spillable. It's just a great battery, not sponsored by the company, just love that deep cranking power of that Odyssey 31 battery. Now, when I have this sweet little Perco switch here, switch to 1, I'm only pulling from that battery, which means when I crank that engine over, I'm only pulling from that battery. When I turn on lights and sonars and things like that, I'm only pulling from that battery. Now, let's say late in the day, it's hot out and I'm running these pumps and running everything, and I need more power. Simply, I need more power. That's when I go to this Battleborn lithium battery here, just by a flip with a switch. And we'll check this out. So this power supply right here, it's at 12 volts, 11.9, 12 volts, okay? I'm running off of this AGM Odyssey battery here. When I switch this to all, it's gonna combine these two batteries, both the Battleborn lithium and this AGM, and provide all that power to all the accessories and to that motor right there. So as we did that, check out my power supply now. With everything on, I'm at hover around 12.4 and 12.5 volts. So it just combined the two, and as I crank that engine over, I'm not gonna have any issues at all throughout the day. So really cool system here. I only use that when I need that power. So that charger right there, it's a real simple hookup. Just plug it in, and that's how I charge that battery. Okay, you still with me? Because I've got a Minn Kota 4-bank charger. That's what comes with the Skeeters. I could charge those 3 trolling motor batteries and that original cranking battery just on board, just by plugging it in. But since sometimes I'll need that extra power and I'll have to charge that battery, I just use that right there. It plugs straight to this. I have it rigged out to where it plugs straight in to that Battleborn. Just plug it in and it'll charge. It'll tell you when it's charged. Just in like an hour and a half and it's charged. So really cool there. Hang with me here. Okay, Raptor pumps. It uses biodegradable hydraulic fluid. So if there's ever a spills in your bilge, ends up in the lake, biodegradable, really cool. So Raptor pumps here, just a real, again, it's not a new design, but that active anchoring mode, that's what sets it apart from all the other shallow water anchors. So I mounted one over here, one over there for the port side. And so here's my, here's my trolling motor batteries. 12 volts, 12 volts, 12 volts for a 36 volt system. It goes to a breaker switch here, and that provides all that power to my trolling motor. Okay, this is new for this year, and you'll see a lot of pros posting about this and talking about this. But again, I talked about all that power demand with all these electronics and gizmos in a 20-foot bass boat. How do you deliver all this power back here to these little outlets? It's not with a little, 16 gauge wire, which is super, super tiny. If you did that, by the end of the year, or even by the end of the day, all your electronics will be flickering. It's just not delivering the power that these batteries are capable of. So Sonar Pro sent me this wiring harness. Catch up with me, Johnny. Sonar Pro sent me this wiring harness here. You just tell them what your setup is. In this case, it's 4 Humminbird Solexes, and they send you this harness here, and you just run it from front to back. And this is optional, but I like the way this turned out. This is just a regular on-off switch. Same thing as this Perco. It's just a one-way off, one-way on switch. And these 4 wires right here, big old bad boy. What are they? There's that 10 gauge, 8 gauge wire. Real heavy stuff. It's like delivering power from the batteries to, the bow electronics, the console electronics. With you're drinking a milkshake, tasty milkshake. Would you rather drink the milkshake out of a little coffee straw, little 16 gauge wire, or this big old fat straw, 10 and 8 gauge wire? And the answer is clear. The bigger, the better. So the more copper from the rear to the front, the better. And that's what Sonar Pros provides. So and each wire, each power source has a standalone fuse. Really, really cool. They just sent that to me for free. So I'm not sponsored by them. They sent it to me for free. I tried it out. I love it. Really, really cool. Really thankful they sent that to me. It complements this whole system really well. So main switch there. So that's the rear. I've got a epoxied in transducer, again, for when I'm running 55, 60 miles an hour. That thing's epoxied in. It will never, ever fail me. It's always in there. It's always pinging, no matter how fast I'm going. It tells me the bottom there. So really, really neat. Tons of space back here. I always love rigging my own boats out here. And again, I do this for a living, so I don't want any problems. And if there ever is a problem, I know exactly where to diagnose it. I know exactly where to go to fix it, or even who to call to fix it. So that just about does it. I'm really, really pumped to run this thing this year. I got through the 10-hour break-in period in the motor, which basically consists of, 1 hour hard idling, another hour just on plane, and then another 8 hours of, keeping it out of wide open throttle. So the boat looks killer. I'm really, really stoked on this season. It rides real nice. There's no chine walking. It's a 70 plus mile an hour boat, the way I have it rigged out with everything. And, at 70 miles an hour, you can take your hands off the wheel and let that sucker ride. So it tows nice, it drives nice, and more importantly, it fishes nice. So I'm looking forward to running this rig up and down the river at the first Elite Series tournament on the St. Johns River, and then ending strong wherever the heck we end. I don't know. I just take it one tournament at a time. So I'm glad everything has come together real nicely. Both my boat and Trade's boat are complete. And again, if you haven't checked out that wrap video, go back one video. I think this one will drop. It's the one before this one, but the wrap video is pretty cool. There's your walk around Skeeter FXR 20. I'm gonna finish up rigging. I got a tournament tomorrow. I'll see you guys later.